Hey guys, and welcome to the patch notes for the 17th of January 2018 patch for Black Desert. So, these patch notes have a few okay changes, as well as some things that hint to upcoming changes in the game. So, the big one is, scribes expect Vell, the Heart of the Sea, to arrive very soon in Megorian waters. To prepare for this event, adventurers are called to prepare themselves and do the quests required to rent an old Bartali sailboat. This fine vessel will not hold forever, but is more than capable of engaging this new upcoming threat. There's also a new kind of treasure, the golden puppy statue, which, like all other golden items, are worth 5 million silvers at any vendor. And an increase in the polar bear population is expected after some cubs have been spotted hiding in boxes. So, the big things obviously are that we will soon be getting the big sea monster raid Vell, who drops a number of good items, including a high tier alchemy stone, I believe, as well as a golden drop event. The golden puppy drop event, defeat monsters, as well as do some fishing or gathering to get golden puppy statues. And that'll last for 2 weeks from the 17th after maintenance until the 31st before the maintenance. Also, the old Bartali sailboat has been added to the game. I believe it's briefly, and I'll go over this in another video, but it has been added to the game. You can get one a week by doing a series of quests, and this will allow players that don't have their own Afaria sailboat or Afaria convoy to also engage Vell in battle. Apart from that, the new quest Event to Vell's Realm is now available for characters level 50 or above and can be accepted via the Black Spirit in Velia. The 4K screenshot issue has been fixed, and a new text error reporting system has been added. So if you notice any typos or other problems with the wording of things in the game, you can use this new feature using Shift R and B on the text to send an error report to the devs. Apart from that, Black Spirit's appearance has been changed in his stages 1, 2, 3, and 6 to be more round and friendly. He's getting the Pikachu effect, except in reverse. A few different small changes here. Now there's a certain chance of gaining knowledge upon defeating the Fallen Awakening bosses. And here's a big change. There's now a new point system that will increase item drop rates depending on the amount of knowledge you have. For each knowledge ecology, you will get 10 points for S-grade knowledge, 5 points for A+, 2 points for A, and 1 point for B or lower. And the more points you have, the higher your item drop rate is when defeating any monster, not just the monsters you have knowledge on. So, the already existing system of having an advantage you have a higher grade knowledge of the specific type of monster you're fighting has not been changed. And party drop items and junk items that are always dropped from monsters will not be affected by this knowledge. So this only affects stuff like weapons and accessory drops. But this is pretty huge because if you get, for example, only 3,000 total points, which is S-grade knowledge on 300 different monsters, which isn't that difficult, honestly, because, well, you can't really think of that many different types of monsters. Each type of monster has like 7 or 8 varieties of them. If you go fight rogues, you get knowledge on a number of rogues. It's the same with Sawsins, same with Manchas, same with Catfishmen. So just go grind, and thanks to the way they changed the knowledge system in the last patch, you don't need to worry about having to reset your knowledge every time you get an A. You can just keep grinding until you get that S-grade knowledge and get those 10 points. So 1,500 seems achievable by most people fairly easily, and that's a nice little 5% item drop rate. And obviously, for some players, they're going to want to work for these 8,000 points, and that's a nice new thing to have in the game for players to work towards. Gives an actual reason to try and get S-grade knowledge, instead of just getting it for the sake of having it, really. And you can check how many knowledge ecology points you have on the bottom of your knowledge window using the H button. So, not too many class changes this week. By now, everyone should recognize the basic AP change. This week, Sorceress is getting it, only by 6, though. So, not too huge a change, really. Apart from that, just a bunch of graphical glitches and bug fixes, really. Item changes, nothing too huge. The luck level is now properly being increased when the Coral Crown is being equipped from the Termian Beach event. Apart from that, the node one is somewhat important. So for every node level raised via investing energy, item drop rate will be increased by 5% for 10% of the monsters you defeat. So if the node level is 10, you'll have 50% higher item drop rate from 10% of the monsters you defeat. And by this they mean if you defeat 10 monsters, the higher drop rate will be applied to one of the monsters. So it's kind of important. I mean, it effectively is a 5% drop rate increase because, yes, it's 50% higher for 1 out of every 10, but you can't really control it. So it's really just a 5% increase, which is nice. And they don't really tell us how much node level you have to raise. Is this 5% per node level? Is this 5% at node level 1? So, I mean, it's a little bit of an ambiguous change. We'll have to see going forward how this really affects things. Marnie stones will now have color-coded icons to help you tell its sample collection status. So no samples collected at all will be a yellow icon. It's blue if you have started collecting but haven't finished, and it'll be red if you are ready to turn that stone in. The Pearl Shop, here's a pretty big one. The Arctic Rare box has been added to the Pearl Shop, and from this box you can get a Tier 2, 3, or 4 polar bear. The Winter Snowflake box will also randomly drop, which drops the Snowball Rosefinch and the Snowflake Rosefinch sets. And polar bears are a really good pet because they increase your weight limit and your auto fishing speed, both of which are huge changes for any AFK activity. Well, processing and fishing, the two best ones. So, polar bears, for people that like to drop money on the game, this is a pretty big one depending on how many pearls it costs. Apart from that, there's not too much else going on in this patch. A few monster changes. The monsters in Forest Ronors and Giffen Rossia Temple have had their DP lowered. And World Boss Karanda Ancient Kutum can now be attacked properly by summoned creatures. But apart from that, and Karanda becomes invincible when launching to the air. But not really anything big here. Quests and knowledge, detailed hints have been added, which is nice, but most people just use YouTube guides for those anyways. My channel does not have any of those, so I'm sorry, you'll have to go to someone else's channel for that. And really that's it for the patch. The only really big changes were the event starting, the knowledge change, potentially the node change, we'll have to see. People to drop money, the Pearl Shop change, the Arctic Rare box, and Vell upcoming. The classes, no real major changes to classes. Balance has kind of stayed steady for the last few weeks. And really this patch, all it's really saying is grinding monsters has become a lot better now because there's a drop rate event and if you have high knowledge, you get better drop rates. Anyways guys, thanks for watching. That's the 17th of January 2018 patch. Subscribe if you like it and have a good one.